Carrying around a source of flame scratches a primal itch for anyone who enjoys everyday carry gear. But the interesting part is for those like myself who don't really smoke, there's never really a need unless you're camping or spending a day out in the woods. Now, for those who are smokers, this video isn't really for you, as the TLDR is that it's a great fire stash as its name implies, but not a daily lighter because of its small size. But if you're like me and simply enjoy carrying around a source of flame for the what ifs, this may be just for you. Now, the ubiquitous BIC lighters will actually fit the need for most people, and for just a few dollars, this will satisfy pretty much anyone. After all, they are incredibly long lasting and solid in terms of its ability to hold fuel and are pretty much fail safe. However, for someone like myself who enjoys reusable, long lasting, everyday carry gear, it doesn't really scratch that itch. Now, full disclaimer, I've carried around the True Utility stash for about 3 months now, and I'll say that so far it's given me pretty good impressions. Of course, it's not perfect, but it really does give me a sense of satisfaction that a normal BIC lighter wouldn't. As usual, let's dive into a list of pros and cons. First pro is indeed its size. The cylindrical shape is as sublime as a mini flashlight, and it's inconspicuous, where it doesn't really signal that I'm a smoker as if I were to be carrying around a Zippo or a BIC lighter. Additionally, I weighed this right before I recorded this, but it's just about 25 grams, which makes it on par maybe with, I don't know, maybe half the weight of a Zippo lighter. Which leads me to my second pro, which is the size of the flame. Now, despite its small size, it does make a healthy size flame, as you can see, which gives me a sense of real satisfaction whenever I do just pull it out to see if it still has some fuel left, or really just secretly to enjoy the flame. Its ability to hold fuel for months on end without a refill, and for someone like me who barely uses it, this is much more reasonable than carrying around a classic Zippo lighter. In addition to its size, the obvious but essential third pro is its keychain ring. Now, I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you think about the ease of carrying, it's basically one with your keys. The idea of having to grab a separate item like a BIC lighter or even a Zippo when I don't even smoke means that the BIC lighter or the Zippo will eventually get lost, maybe washed in my pants as I throw it into the washer, or get delegated to some drawer that I use to stash things but I don't really end up using. But with a keychain ring, it's always on me and it disappears with my keys and never gets lost in my pocket or drawer. And fourthly is its reusability and decent tolerances that make this a step above your typical BIC lighter. It's basically a cylindrical Zippo lighter, but even with tighter tolerances. As you can see here, trying to pull out the inner frame from the outer casing is actually a bit difficult, as you can't just pull it out with your hand, as you are able to with the Zippo lighter. As you can see here, this is something you can easily just pull out and refill whenever you need to. But when it comes to this, the True Fire Stash, you actually need a set of pliers to pull it out in my experience. Now, I don't know about other models, but for this one at least, I like to gently grab it along the flint wheel and gently but firmly pull up. And as you can see, this is actually quite, despite its frustration getting it out, it's actually a positive or a pro because this creates a tighter seal, which means that less of the fuel will be evaporating through the side or escaping through the side. And as you can see here, there's the typical cotton. Now this one's cylindrically cut out, but you can replace it with any cotton that you'll purchase with a Zippo, let's say another kit to replace. And this is your flathead screwdriver that you can remove and also replace with your typical Zippo flint. So everything is fully compatible, and including the wick itself, which makes this one of the most versatile fire stashes that I think that you can purchase on the market today. Unfortunately, with so much going for the True Utility fire stash, it isn't perfect. First con is ironically its size. Now, I have small to average size hands where most of my gloves are between a small and a medium. And for someone like myself, I find that actually trying to grab the item, unscrew the top, and rolling the flint a bit cumbersome. Especially the last part. If you're someone with larger hands, trying to roll this tiny flint wheel will be frustrating at best, which is unfortunate trade-off because of its incredibly nimble size. Now, if you just compare side by side, here's the flint wheel on the Zippo, and here's the flint wheel on the True Utility Fire Stash. You need to basically grab with 2 hands to be able to turn it on, and use your index finger for the most part when letting it aflame versus a Zippo, where this one already dried out on me. I refilled it just a couple days ago. But it's actually quite difficult to roll. You'll need 2 hands to do so. Second con is actually its O-ring. Now, it hasn't actually failed on me, but I do sense how delicate it is, and it's actually quite easy to roll the O-ring off. I can imagine if I was in a pinch, I would totally lose the O-ring with just a little bit of friction, or if I was using it in a tight spot. Additionally, it feels really delicate, so much to the point where I actually don't screw the top fully so as not to squish it down completely. If there's a fail point, this is definitely it. And while finding a replacement isn't impossible, it'll just be a bit frustrating to find the right size. Which leads me to my conclusion. The true utility fire stash is really just that. It's a potent backup fire stash. It was never meant to really replace your Zippo or primary lighter. It's a wonderful backup source of fuel and flame that if you were to ever be in the odd situation you need to make a fire without having prepared beforehand, you'll be glad that you had it. And I know that I am. And as someone who doesn't use a lighter daily, this is exactly what I wanted. I'd simply have to make sure to check the fuel every few months, maybe quarterly or biannually, and simply carry on with my life. Now, the reviews on Amazon share a slightly different story, but quite a bit of the reviews you see seem to be because people who returned it after use, or people who are disappointed that it doesn't come with spare parts or the fuel. But regardless, if you are looking for a fire backup source that isn't your typical BIC lighter, this is the one for you. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.